So I'm just gonna walk by the camera to get started. Do you see how this works? I'm going to act out the phrasal verbs. So that was walk by, and you saw the word appear over here as I was doing it. So let's do over 50 more in this English lesson. So when you see something like a bench or chair, you can sit down, and after you have done that for a while, you can of course stand up. So sit down and stand up. Sometimes when I'm walking along, I trip and I fall down. So behind me here, you see a ladder. You can climb up a ladder. You can also climb down a ladder. You can also go up a ladder, and then you can go down a ladder as well. So it's a little bit sunny today, and I thought maybe I should put on a hat. But then when I came outside, it was a little cloudy, so I thought that I would take off my hat. So when we talk about vehicles, we usually get in a vehicle. So I'm going to get in my van. If I was done driving my van, I would get out of my van. There's also a couple of slang ways to talk about this, or less common ways, and that's to jump in. I can jump in my van, and then when I'm done driving, I can jump out again. I don't jump in or jump out a lot because I'm getting a little bit old. So even though we use get in and get out to talk about vehicles, we don't use it for airplanes, ships, and trains. When we go on an airplane, we say get on the airplane. And when we leave the airplane, we say get off. We also do the same for trains. You get on a train and you get off of a train. So once you're in a vehicle, you'll often drive away, which means to leave. And then when you return, you usually drive in. Sometimes when you're driving, you'll run over something. Oops, I accidentally ran over something. If you think I'm too close to you, you might want me to back away. So my truck is getting old and it's starting to fall apart. You can see all this rust here. It's all just falling apart. When I'm standing here, if I turn around, I'm able to see the river. If I turn around again, I'm able to see you guys. So you'll notice if I hold on to this pen, it stays right here. But if I let go, it falls down. I just picked it up. If I let go of this bike, it will fall over. Sorry, bike. By the way, we're about halfway. If you don't know who I am, I'm Bob the Canadian. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, you can do that by clicking that red button below. And if you haven't given me a thumbs up yet, please do. Oh, look, a pen. So when you see something like this pen laying here, you can pick up the pen. If you don't want to keep it, you can put down the pen. You could pick up the pen and you could set down the pen. A lot of times before I go out, I need to pick out which jacket I'm going to wear. Should I pick out a gray one or should I pick out a blue one? I know whenever I pick out a shirt, I usually pick a blue one. Sometimes when you're talking to people and things aren't going well, you decide you just need to walk away. And sometimes it's nice to walk up to people so that you can talk to them. Sometimes when I'm sitting on the couch watching a little bit of television, I fall asleep. Then a little while later I wake up. Sometimes I decide that it's time to get up off the couch. Sometimes when I'm outside, I like to point out things that I want people to look at. If I point over there, you can see the river. In order for me to listen to the radio, I need to plug in this cord. And if I'm done listening to it, I can unplug it. That's not a phrasal verb, but that's what it is anyways. Unplug. So I'm not sure how many verbs we've done, but I think it's time for me to just sit back and relax for a little bit. Okay, now I might just sit up and pay attention. So I'm going to try and lift this cement block 10 times. So I'm going to get started. That means to begin. 1, 2, I think I'm gonna give up now. That means to quit. Sometimes my kids take out the milk and I get angry because they didn't put back the milk. If you leave the milk out, it gets warm. And eventually it starts to smell funny. I always put back the milk. When you get home from the grocery store, you need to put away the groceries. It's nice to have all your groceries in the cupboard, but when you're hungry, you need to get out the bread so that you can make a sandwich. So I actually borrowed these keys from Jen. When I go in the house, I'm going to give back the keys. I'm going to return them to her. Every once in a while, I need to fill up my van with gas. At night, when it's dark, sometimes we have to turn on a light. When we go to bed, we turn off the light. Sometimes I like to hang up pictures on my wall, but sometimes they get old and then I take down the picture and I put a new one in. This is the volume button. I use this button to turn up the TV if I want it to be louder, and I use this button to turn down the TV if I want it to be quieter.